The County of Marin has a long tradition of being a leader and innovator in enhancing the quality of life for Marin residents. County government impacts our community every day as we provide an array of county-wide services for all residents and municipal services for residents in unincorporated areas. These services range from flood control to property tax collection, from ensuring a fair criminal justice system to providing a safety net for residents most impacted by the economy. The county takes pride in delivering its services in a fiscally responsible manner and has the highest bond rating among California counties. However, given the serious economic challenges we face, we know we will need to make difficult choices to live within our limited resources. Over the past year, the county has conducted a long-term restructuring process to help adapt to this new reality and has developed a draft plan for responding to our challenges. This video highlights this long-term restructuring process and the draft plan recently presented to the Board of Supervisors.
When we analyze what we're looking at, if you take an example, the dot-com bust of the early 2000s, that was, for local government, that was basically a 2-year phenomenon. The state lost income tax revenue because of the loss of capital gains. They ended up cutting local governments. We eliminated about 50 positions, and then the housing market improved, and basically we came back to an equilibrium. We don't see that occurring this time. We see this because it's the housing markets that's the core of the downturn. We really see it as an ongoing challenge and a structural deficit. And so we're not looking to make one-time fixes to solve it. We're looking for taking a look at the mix of services we provide and have a clear understanding with our residents that we may not be able to keep providing the full mix of services that we have now, but those that we do provide, we want to provide well. And so we're looking at this as much more of a long-term, ongoing challenge. And so that's why we're reevaluating all of our services and trying to come up with a 3 to 5 year plan to rebalance the county's budget. The way we're looking at long-term restructuring is we're basically going to try to come up with a 3 to 5 year plan to rebalance our budget, because right now, if we keep doing the services we provide now, given the revenue streams, that the money we're getting in, there's a gap each and every year for the next 5 years. And so rather than just making incremental reductions each year and pretend like this is a one-time thing, we're trying to look at it with a long-term perspective and come up with a plan and really re-examine the services we provide. And so we're going to re-examine each of those programs and say, can we really afford this program level going forward? And if not, we need to kind of share with our residents that there's going to be a change in the service level. And we can no longer afford this higher service level, but we can afford a lower service level going forward. And so so that's really, the process that we're trying to do is really take a look at the whole and rebuild our budget and say, here's a mix of services that we can really sustain over the long term.
Over the past year, the county has conducted an extensive engagement process to reach out to our residents and our employees as part of our long-term restructuring. It's been important for us to share information about what we're facing and to get ideas and input from our public and our employees to help us adapt to these changing times. As part of our engagement process, the county has posted information on our website about the budget and restructuring process. We've conducted a community-wide survey to get feedback from residents about their funding priorities and areas of importance. We've taken hundreds of budget suggestions, many of which we've already implemented as part of our budget process. We've also held community and employee budget forums to get ideas and share information. Our community forum, which was held in Novato last month, produced a number of different ideas and topics for the county to consider. Some of the themes and ideas that came out of this forum included looking at ways to further consolidate county services with cities, towns, and schools across Marin, exploring additional public-private partnerships, looking at new revenue sources for county services, exploring additional green alternatives for the county, and looking at pension reform. All of these options and themes are ideas that we are exploring as part of our process. So it was certainly gratifying to hear those from the public, and it gives us further credence to move forward in looking at those. In addition, we held a series of employee budget forums so that our workforce could hear more about the challenges we're facing and to share their ideas for how their organization can adapt. We've received a lot of good ideas from our workforce, and we'll continue to build those into our process in responding to our budget challenges as well. The draft long-term restructuring plan is a policy guide to help the county continue to adapt to these changing economic times. The plan and the process provide an opportunity for us to think differently and creatively about how county government can best serve the community in these times. There are 6 sections in the draft plan that was presented to the board on December 15th. The first section is an introduction that provides a broad overview of the process. The second section is the background and financial overview that gives a context about the county's budget, how we're impacted by the economy, and the relative strengths and weaknesses of the county budget. The third section is what we call a policy filter. It describes how the county's vision, mission, and goals impact our long-term restructuring strategy, as well as the information we've gained from our engagement efforts. This section also includes a set of guiding principles to inform our long-term restructuring. The fourth section is one on emerging issues. This section highlights 9 key areas facing the county and our future strategies to address them. These areas include pension and health care costs, facilities and road maintenance, and other topics. The fifth section is on our policy options. We've developed over 50 discrete county-wide and departmental options to help address our changing times. These options reflect our guiding principles and strategies on emerging issues. We base the options on 4 different categories, including county-wide savings, service reduction elimination, organizational restructuring or redesign, and revenue increases. At this time, we're not asking the board to approve and adopt all those options, but really present them as examples of options under consideration to help us adapt to our changing times. The last section covers recommended next steps that describe the next steps with the long-term restructuring plan. In January, we'll present the final long-term restructuring plan to the Board of Supervisors and ask for their adoption. This adoption will include approval of the guiding principles, future strategies, and policies to help us address our long-term challenges at the County of Marin.
You can get a copy of the draft long-term restructuring plan by going to the county's website and clicking on the Budget Information link. The board will be asked to approve a final version of the LTR plan at its January 12th meeting. It begins at 10 o'clock in the morning in room 330 at the Marin Civic Center. Following the board's approval, the plan will be implemented beginning with the 2010-2011 fiscal year budget process and updated throughout the year to help the county continue to meet future budget challenges. Again, for more information and to see how you can be involved, please visit the county's Budget and Restructuring page.